Hello, everyone, and welcome to Crime in Court. This is the Canton cover up series, Commonwealth versus Karen Reed, and today we are going to be going over some breaking news. Judge Canoni has ruled on Karen Reed's dog bite expert. So let's get to it. As you can see, this is video only. I am still recovering, but we'll be getting back to my normal spot and recording with video soon. So just letting you know, recovery is going well for hip surgery. All right, so let's begin with. So this is going to be actually a very quick video, but I wanted to make sure that I got this out to you guys because this is breaking news. Judge Canoni just uh, released or filed this today. So, memorandum of decision and order on Commonwealth's motion to exclude the testimony of Dr. Marie Russell. Before the court is the Commonwealth's motion to exclude the proposed expert testimony of Dr. Marie Russell. Dr. Russell intends to testify as to whether the abrasions on John O'Keefe's right arm were caused by a dog. The Commonwealth contends that the defendant has failed to show that her testimony meets the requirements set forth in Daubert versus Merrill Dow Pharmaceuticals and Commonwealth versus Lanigan. The court conducted a Daubert-Lanigan hearing on December 12th and January 7th. Although a close question, the court will deny the Commonwealth's motion. There was a close call about this. Like she actually considered denying or approving it, allowing it. That's crazy. Discussion. Before a witness can provide expert testimony, the court, as the gatekeeper, must make a preliminary determination that the testimony has satisfied the requirements for admissibility. Expert testimony is admissible when the testimony concerns matters beyond the common knowledge of the jurors and will aid the jurors in reaching a decision. Expert testimony is admissible, however, when the witness is it inadmissible? Expert testimony is inadmissible, so it cannot come in when the witness testifies to matters beyond her area of expertise. The determination of admissibility is within the court's discretion. However, before the court may exercise its discretion to admit expert testimony, the party seeking to offer the testimony, here the defendant, must establish 5 foundational elements. 1. That the expert testimony will assist the trier of fact because the information is beyond the common knowledge of jurors. 2. That the witness is qualified as an expert in the relevant area of inquiry. 3. That the expert's opinion is based on facts or data of a type reasonably relied on by experts to form opinions in the relevant field. 4. That the theory underlying the opinion is reliable. And 5. That the theory is applied to the particular facts of the case in a reliable manner. Here, the recognition of dog bite wounds is not within the common knowledge of a lay person and requires expert testimony. And Dr. Russell is a qualified expert as to these topics. She is a board certified emergency medical doctor with over 30 years of experience in training in forensic pathology and has conducted over 500 autopsies. With respect to dog bites specifically, Dr. Russell has treated hundreds of wounds resulting from dog attacks during her time as an emergency room doctor and co-authored peer-reviewed articles on the treatment of law enforcement canine bites in the emergency room. Lastly, in informing her opinion in this case, Dr. Russell conducted a differential diagnosis based on the pattern of the victim's wounds and their characteristics and supported her theory with references to peer-reviewed publications. Blah, blah, wording, saying things hard today. All right, so use of differential diagnosis is a standard scientific technique of identifying the cause of a medical problem. Accordingly, the court finds that Dr. Russell's testimony satisfies the 5 foundational elements and therefore will allow Dr. Russell to testify as to whether the abrasions on John O'Keefe's arm were caused by a dog. In so ruling, the court recognizes that on cross-examination, the Commonwealth demonstrated, among other things, that Dr. Russell's expertise primarily concerns the treatment, not the identification, of dog bites, that her evaluation of the abrasions failed to consider all available information, that she has not compared the abrasions with the dentition of the German Shepherd in question, which we don't even know is actually Chloe's, and that her opinion is inconsistent with findings that there was no canine DNA in the area of the victim's clothing near the abrasions. However, the court concludes that these issues go to the weight of Dr. Russell's testimony, not its admissibility, and can be addressed during court cross-examination at trial. So basically, the judge is like, I found her uncredible. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She does blah 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 blah. She isn't really uh she basically trying to like discredit her and credit her at the same time. Like she has the expertise, but what she's talking about isn't true, so we'll let her testify anyways, basically is what they're saying here. um so they conclude that's the goes to the weight, not the admissibility. And C. Hins versus whatever. Okay, in evaluating admissibility, a judge does not determine whether to credit the expert's ultimate opinion. So it's not up to the judge to decide whether the expert is right or not. It's basically up to the judge to decide whether they meet those prongs as to the five prongs here in this section. So she ruled that, yes, she meets the prongs. So, for the foregoing reasons, the Commonwealth's motion to exclude the testimony of Dr. Marie Russell is denied. Denied, bitches. Ha ha. That's what I say to Hank. Hank the Tank Brennan, or whatever you want to call him. Hanky Panky. He is, I don't know. I definitely think that this was a waste of time, a waste of money. Why did we sit for 2 full days of this voir dire if all that they needed to do was meet those 5 prongs, yet you allowed Hank Brennan in your courtroom to just continuously ask questions that aren't relevant to expert opinion, rather her, um, like how she gets to her. I feel like it was another bite of the apple is really what he was trying to do, was to really try to cross-examine her without being in trial. It's like a deposition without, having to go to trial first. You get a chance to actually ask them questions before trial begins. And that's what I think all of this was. I think it was a shot in the dark. Let's try to get her expert uh, denied by the judge, um, when we know that she already went through the voir dire process at the first trial and she was allowed to testify. So basically, Hank Brennan was putting this motion saying, you should deny her because she's not really an expert, and basically saying, Judge Canoni, you got it wrong. You shouldn't have let her testify in the first place. And then he went on 2 long-winded days of brutal questioning of this poor woman, Dr. Marie Russell, who, I mean, she held her own, don't get me wrong, but it was brutal to watch. And you could tell that she was getting frustrated at times, and I would be too. So why did we do this? Now he's going to try to do this with Richard Green, the individual, the data forensics guy who found that Jen McCabe made the How Long to Die in Cold search. And then they also want to do this with the ARCA guys. They want to do voir dires again. Like, why? There, this doesn't happen in normal trials. Usually, you get an expert. Okay, fine, he's an expert. If I, want to question his expertise, then I'll go and do it on the stand and try to get him voir dired, or at least, get some explanation as to why, this person is an expert. So that's how a normal trial goes. I give you my list of experts, you give me yours. We handle it like adults. But instead, Hank Brennan's like, I don't like your experts here that are going to blow my narrative, my false narrative, so I'm going to try to get rid of them, basically. All he's doing. So, oh, yikes. It's annoying. And Judge Canoni is too much of a wuss. That's the other thing I wanted to say before I go here. Judge Canoni has no business being on the bench. She's too much of a wuss to push back on prosecution when they're wrong. She won't do it, but she can do it anytime against the defense whenever she thinks they're wrong. Like in this motion, she even says, I found all these things to be problematic with Dr. Russell's testimony, but I'm still going to let her testify. But I just had to get that dig in there to let you know that I'm not happy with it. She shouldn't have, it's not up to her. And I mean, ultimately, it is up to her to make all the decisions in her courtroom, but she can't just ignore the law completely. So she has to follow the law in some respects, and that's probably why she was forced to deny this testimony. But she's too much of a wuss to push back on the prosecution, to push back on Hank, and be like, Hank, we already voir dired her. I'm not going to do it again. Instead, she lets Karen waste all of her money and, bring another expert to the stand twice, two different separate days. She has to fly her in, pay for accommodations, pay for her time on the stand, potentially. I don't know if she's actually charging or what, but I mean, it still costs her money. She still has to pay for lodging and, things like that. So it's very frustrating. And for Judge Canoni to just be like, yeah, sure. And now on the 31st of this month, we have another hearing, which they're going to argue on the Richard Green and the ARCA stuff potentially. So hopefully she says no. But as we know how Judge Gold goes, she's probably just going to be like, yeah, sure, go ahead, bring him in. I got nothing to do. I'm just sitting here painting my nails, flicking my glasses in my hand while I stare at cute Arca Boy. She's not gonna she's not gonna eliminate the Arca Boys. She likes the Arca Boys. She's gonna be Dr. Wolf. Her face lit up and she was giving him the eyes. So when he walked in. So Dr. Wolf, she's not excluding him. Are you kidding? She's gonna be like, I demand Dr. Wolf come back. Somebody posted the video of her like staring at him when he was walking up to the stand and getting sworn in. You could tell she liked what she was seeing. So that's not happening, Hank. You're definitely not better looking than Dr. Wolf, Dr. Matt Wolf, who, right, Matt, I think. Anyways, she's going to definitely deny that too because she's going to want to see the Arca Boys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like button on your way out. Bye now.